Well, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Josh Schimmels, publisher and CEO of the Los Angeles Business Journal. It's a real honor to host our Nonprofit and Corporate Citizenship Awards, as it's one of my favorites that we hold each year. It's our chance to recognize the hard work of the nonprofit community and also take a moment to show our appreciation for the amazing corporate citizens who support all of the communities. We have a great program lined up today. We're going to begin with a conversation on corporate citizenship, how organizations can start, or in many cases, grow their corporate responsibility initiatives, and how we can all support nonprofits in the LA region. Then we're going to meet our keynote speaker, Alex Wilson, co-founder of the Giving Block, as he discusses crypto philanthropy, what it is, its value, and its impact in nonprofit fundraising. I think it's going to be a really interesting topic, and I can tell you that I'm looking forward to it. And then finally, we're going to crescendo to the awards portion of the day, which I know we're all excited about, where we're going to be announcing our finalists and honorees in 7 individual and in 9 organizational categories. It's never been more important to acknowledge and honor the work and support those individuals and organizations that have given to our communities for the last several years and many more beyond it and before that, and of course beyond. Our hopes are that by sharing these stories, by doing so, we can showcase the great work being done and also encourage more business leaders to get involved. During the interactive discussion, we're also going to be conducting live audience poll questions. So when you see these pop up on your screen, we encourage you to respond and answer, provide your feedback, and then we'll publish these results online on our website next week. Before we launch right into our panel, I'd like to thank those who committed their support to this program, all of our amazing sponsors. Thank you so much. As you know, we can't do this without you, and we appreciate you helping us provide support to the community of business. So thank you to our 2 diamond sponsors, the Giving Block, and to Wells Fargo Bank, to our platinum sponsors, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, Play Equity Fund, R&D Incentives Groups, and Think Together. And I want to thank our many gold sponsors, starting with Ultimate Health Services Corp, Alzheimer's Association of Southland Chapter, Children's Burn Foundation, Education Through Music Los Angeles, Exceptional Children's Foundation, Aluna Health, the Jeffrey Foundation, LA Family Housing, Los Angeles Rams, Mental Health America of Los Angeles, the Music Center, Michael's Learning Place, New Economics for Women, Olive Crest, One Legacy, Wayfinder Family Services, and West Side Food Bank. Thank you all so much for recognizing the importance of this program and for being a part of this. Okay, I don't want to make you wait any longer, so we're going to get this started. Let's meet our panelists. First, Randy Barth, founder and chief executive officer, Think Together. Helen Hahn, business development manager, R&D Incentives Group. Christina Quezada, director of corporate relations, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Greg Shurkin, SVP for Southern California Social Impact and Sustainability with Wells Fargo Bank. And today's moderator, Dr. Blaine Cutler, president and chief executive officer, Aluna Health. Dr. Cutler, welcome. I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Josh. It's wonderful to be together in this virtual space. And let me also say that Aluna Health is always so pleased to be a part of this event, honoring the outstanding work of our nonprofit partners and our corporate citizen partners as well. We thank the Los Angeles Business Journal for hosting. I very much hope we'll be able to be together in person next year. And I'm excited to use our panel time today to explore the kinds of collaboration that are possible between corporate and nonprofit partners. We have a great team of corporate and nonprofit leaders on the panel today, so let's just jump right in. The first question for the group is this, and I'm going to ask each of you to respond. Why is corporate citizenship important, not only for you, but for our community here in Los Angeles? Let's start with Randy. Why don't you go ahead?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me here. You know, we all want to live in a great place, and LA is a great place, but it's got its challenges, and we want it to be a great place not only for us, but for our friends and neighbors and for the entire community. So we want communities that are healthy and safe, that have great education, that have great environment, have great healthcare, have good, safety and law and order and all of those things. And so we very much believe it takes a village. And so corporate, we live in a capitalist society, and the corporate engine is the engine of the economy that drives taxes and philanthropy and all those things. And so the corporate leaders and corporations have to play a role in the village, and a leadership role in the village.
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate that very holistic approach. Helen, what do you think?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So corporate citizenship is actually very important to us, especially during the pandemic. We've been more conscientious of serving businesses and nonprofits that are largely underserved and faced with a ton of challenges throughout the pandemic. And so throughout the employee retention program that we're helping our clients take advantage of, our work has really allowed us to recoup significant amount of dollars back into the pockets of these businesses and nonprofits, and help them actually retain their employees that are considered as frontline healthcare workers of the nonprofit world. And so we think of corporate citizenship as more than just making a donation or being part of a charitable event. But we really believe that, first and foremost, we have to be committed to doing business the right way, ethically and responsibly. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we provide our employees with meaningful obligations to want to help others. And so, throughout our experience in helping companies take advantage of these programs, it's been very impactful in ways to kind of act on our values and our core beliefs in the LA community.
Thanks, Helen. I appreciate that economic lens that you're using. And that's a nice pivot to Greg. Can you share with us, why is corporate citizenship so important, not only for you, but also for the community here in Los Angeles?
Sure, thanks for the question. Not only do we do business here, we live here. I mean, this is our home. We want to be living in a strong and vibrant community, and we realize that we're only as strong as our most vulnerable men, women, and children who live here as well. And we feel it's our responsibility to make sure that they have access to the resources and opportunities that they truly need to reach their potential. And we're committed to helping them do that.
Thanks so much. And I appreciate that sort of interconnected approach. Christina, can you help answer the question for you?
Yes. I mean, for me personally, it's important to support businesses that care about the same issues that I do. Working in a nonprofit, we believe that when corporations are responsible, it makes our community stronger. We're able to provide more support for our clients, for the people who are the most vulnerable in our communities.
Wonderful. Thanks so much to the panel. This next question is for Randy. Randy, what do you think corporations need to do before implementing or reevaluating their corporate social responsibility initiatives?
So I did a mid-career MBA at Claremont under Peter Drucker when Peter Drucker was still alive. And Drucker used to talk, advise leaders to kind of go down a decision tree on each major decision. Is it good for your customers? Is it good for your employees? Is it good for your shareholders? Is it good for your community? Is it good for the world? And we certainly think about the world differently today with the environment in mind and so forth. And so I think I also worked at Drexel Burnham in the 1980s when shareholder value was really reigned supreme, and that's crowded out some of these other considerations. So I think corporations aligning with what their customers need and want, what their employees need and want, along with their shareholders, I think building that alignment is something that companies need to think something about.
Thanks so much. And I love the checklist. That's really an interesting approach from Drucker. Greg, can you tell us about Wells Fargo's corporate social responsibility strategy? And in particular, how are you working with nonprofits today?
Sure. Well, Wells Fargo has a robust CSR strategy that focuses on diversity and inclusion, economic empowerment, environmental sustainability, and community giving. And as part of our CSR efforts, we invest significant time and resources into assessing and managing the environmental and social risk in our lending and investments. And we also have a robust environmental, social, and governance reporting program that sets goals and helps us measure our performance in addressing societal challenges. In terms of our local community, we work hand in hand with nonprofits and other community stakeholders to empower change in underserved communities with a focus on racial equity and curbing climate change. And we strongly value our partners' expertise and dedication to their communities, particularly our nonprofit partners. And we deeply rely on them to inform us on what their communities need and how we can be of best service to them. Based on that guidance, we provide financial support, volunteers, and business expertise to actively support positive impact in the communities and help address racial disparities, particularly in the areas of housing affordability, small business growth, financial health, and sustainability and environmental justice. And really what we're trying to do is prioritize our efforts, particularly our philanthropic activities and programs that align with these priorities and also help us be able to drive innovation at scale.
Wow, that's great. Thanks, Greg. I really appreciate the emphasis you're placing on the importance of bringing together the private, nonprofit, and public sectors to solve our greatest challenges. I will say at Haluna Health, we certainly have seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, the critical need for local governments to partner with companies and nonprofits in their cities and to be able to respond quickly to emerging outbreaks. For example, we worked with a number of counties across California to help them with surge hiring for contact tracing and vaccine administration, and with public and private schools and school districts to provide COVID-19 testing resources and PPE supplies. Christina and Randy, you're coming from the nonprofit perspective too. What benefits do you see corporations prioritizing when they engage in a nonprofit partnership? And conversely, what are you looking for from a company when embarking on a new corporate partnership for your organization? Let's start with Christina.
So, I mean, every corporation is different. We see corporations looking for acknowledgements. We're seeing them looking for recognition. But most importantly, we think that nowadays corporations want more. They want a relationship. They want to be engaged with the nonprofit. They want to make sure that the nonprofit is using their donations effectively and efficiently, but also in having ways to engage their employees, to engage with the nonprofit and figure out how they can make the biggest impact, and not just write a check, and make sure that the support is provided continuously and for the long haul.
Thanks very much. And we hear that theme of not just writing a check by multiple panelists. Randy, what do you think about that question?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Christina had to say. I think it's kind of that employee engagement is certainly a very important thing. Opportunities oftentimes for hands-on experiences, or even sometimes remote experiences, board seats, committee participation, event participation. So how can people get engaged in their communities and get back and build that relationship partnership, as Christina said. And then you want that to be a good experience. So there's a customer experience for the employees involved, and they do want visibility and recognition oftentimes, which is also can be good for the nonprofit because it helps validate and raise the visibility of the nonprofit as well. So I think it's really the alignment of those interests.
Thanks very much. I want to shift gears a little bit here. The pandemic brought many changes in government initiatives to help communities. Helen, would you share with us your expertise identifying and securing new tax incentives for your clients? For example, how can nonprofits take advantage of the employee retention credit, even if they're non-tax-paying entities? And how does an organization know whether it's eligible or not eligible?
Yeah, so thank you. That's a great question. The employee retention credit, it's gone through a lot of different iterations, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of organizations still today don't know if they are eligible. Even nonprofits can take advantage of this because it's a refundable payroll credit that gets reflected on payroll quarterly returns. So if a company or a nonprofit is eligible, they can receive literally up to $26,000 per employee. for every single person that they retained actually throughout the pandemic. The biggest misconception that I really face with the nonprofits that we work with is that they don't think that they qualify because they were an essential business, because they were never shut down or suspended by the government, or B, their revenue didn't really decline at all throughout the pandemic. So their financial health, if you look at it from a revenue standpoint, it didn't really decline significantly compared to 2019. So they don't think that they meet the criteria, or if they received a PPP loan, they don't think that they can do that. But you can actually do both PPP and ERC. For nonprofits, there's a more nuanced criteria where if any parts of their operations or services were limited or restricted in any way, they can actually qualify for the program, even though they weren't shut down. So if they couldn't hold certain functions or charity events, or if they couldn't serve, certain communities that were higher, risk, individuals like the mentally disabled or the elderly, if they had any these types of limitations, right, because of the government mandates that were going on through 2020 and 2021, they get that $26,000 per employee refund. So it's super significant.
That's great to know. Thank you so much. Want to turn to Greg for a moment and ask how your Wells Fargo firm has evolved its corporate social responsibility strategic focus or approach in recent years, especially in light of the pandemic. Can you speak to that a little bit, please?
Sure, happy to. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we realized the magnitude of the pandemic and the extremely adverse impact it was going to have on our communities, particularly those communities that were underserved and historically disenfranchised, we completely changed our engagement and giving strategies to focus exclusively on getting direct service into those communities to provide them with what we knew that they were going to need most. And then, beyond that, we also leveraged other Wells resources, including taking all of the gross proceeds from the fees we earned through the Paycheck Protection Program and gave them back to the small business community. That was over a $440 million investment, 30 million of which came into LA County. We announced a recent round of funding with LISC and Inclusive Action for the City that we're really proud of. But it just brought tremendous opportunity for us to think a little bit bigger, if you will, because of the need, and also think a little bit differently in how we approached the work with our community partners. You talked about work with public-private partnerships, I think, Dr. Cutler, and that's something that we really tried to focus on, as well as thinking, how can we create more collective impact and how can we create more collaboration? And, because everyone realized this was an unprecedented, health emergency, I think people are more inclined to come together and work together faster and hopefully, and from what I saw, pretty efficiently. And so we really tried to capitalize on that and bring together community partners, both in the county, the city, and in the economic development sector to stand up the LA COVID-19 Relief Fund. We provided a relatively small grant, but that was able to be catalyzed into close to $100 million in state and federal funding that supported 7,200 organizations during the pandemic. And that's just, one of the many examples of collaborations that we were fortunate and privileged to be a part of, and just seeing the way that the nonprofit community worked together. I mean, it really was truly amazing. I'm really proud of also the work that we were able to do with LA Economic Development Corporation, the LA Chamber of Commerce, LISC Los Angeles, the Dr. Lucy Jones Center, and the Center for Sustainable Development to create Together for LA, which was another initiative focused on making sure that the small business community was able to know where to go to get access to resources and information to really keep their doors open throughout this whole ordeal. And so, our hope is that we'll be able to continue this tremendous opportunity of collaboration and cooperation amongst key partners, and really be able to help carry this into the next era so that, when we unfortunately experience the next economic shock, we'll be better prepared for it, better, more resilient, and really have create an opportunity for more resources come into our region.
Thanks so much. That's really incredible, having worked on the LA COVID Relief Fund and with multiple partnerships throughout the city and the county and the region, as well as the state. I'm so impressed with the amount of work that's been done and the way that everybody has come together. I'd love to hear from the nonprofit perspective again here. Randy and Kristina, the needs of our community are so great that nonprofits and corporations we really have to think about continued ways, as Greg noted, to work together better and more consistently. And given what Greg has just outlined about the changes at Wells Fargo, how do we as nonprofits need to evolve for these partnerships to be successful? Why don't we start with Randy on this one?
Well, I think we have to broaden the base. I mean, it's not a direct answer to exactly that question, but I think there's a relative, LA is a big, diverse place. You look at the city and the county, it's massive. It'd be the 8th biggest state in the country as a state. And so there's a relative handful of players, many of whom are listed here, are involved in this event today, that are carrying too big of a load for this big of a place. And so there was an interesting article in Inside Philanthropy today, how little the entertainment, one of the biggest sectors of LA's economy, how little entertainment industry does in philanthropy. I think we've got the banks well represented here today, but a lot of the massive wealth in the financial sector is in our private equity firms, in our private investment firms, our big bond houses, some of the ex-Drexel alumni from my old firm, getting that group in. And then looking to the eastern part of the county, there's a lot of privately held companies. There's a lot of wealth in small, mid-sized business owners that have been successful out through the San Gabriel Valley and the eastern parts of the county and that sort of thing. And that's largely immigrant-led. And so broadening the base and getting all these players in and everybody taking a slice of it and reinvesting back in our economy or in our communities, it'll be a much better and healthier place. And we'll all be in it together.
Thanks so much. That's some really great thoughts there. Kristina, do you want to add to that a little bit?
Yes, I think we're seeing similar things that, like Randy mentioned, we're diversifying our donors, we're getting donations from several different places. But I mean, most importantly, I think that we have to keep providing updates and what the needs are in our community and keeping those companies informed and how they can help. By doing these things, we can work better together. For example, we had a company who came in, gave us a donation, and that was their first interaction with us. That was great. It helped. We were able to use the donation to give back and feed our hungry neighbors. But the more they learned from us, the more that they met with us, the more that they talked about with us, the more that they realized what our needs are, the more engaged they were. They were supporting us in different aspects, supporting different programs, different initiatives, helping us bring awareness to our mission. So I think that to make things more successful, we have to figure out how we can benefit from each other and not just the corporations from the nonprofits and the nonprofits from the corporations, but it has to be a mutual relationship, a true partnership.
Thank you so much. Well said. And Kristina, let's stay with you for a minute. Amid the pandemic, many organizations on the front lines were in the spotlight and received attention from various corporations and individuals. For example, at Haluna Health, we were able to engage a number of new partners who stepped forward to help those individuals already struggling, as you've talked about, with providing PPE supplies and housing supports. As we see the pandemic shift yet again and begin to move toward endemicity, when and if that happens, the impact on our communities is far from over and will be far from over. What are some strategies you're developing to keep corporations aware of the ongoing need or impact on the health and wellness of our communities? And how do you encourage their continued engagement and support? And that's for you, Kristina. Yeah.
So for the food bank, it's very important that we continue to communicate the needs of our community. We're focused on telling the story of our clients. We're bringing a human aspect to food insecurity. It's not just a massive number. They're people, they're humans like you and I, they're our neighbors. And I think that the pandemic really shed a light on that. There was people who had never in their life stood at a food line, and we were seeing people who were coming to food lines who had said, I've never been in this position before, but I need the help. So I think it's really humanized the issues. We're working with our partners to figure out ways on how to bring awareness to our mission, how that we can work together. The food bank is also really fortunate. We've been able to invest in our team and have team members who can continue to communicate with these companies, form relationships, and tell them what our needs are and how they can continue to be involved and engaged and help us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Helen, earlier you shared with us very useful information on the employee retention credits and nonprofit eligibility. Can you let us know which wages qualify, and what if people took advantage of the PPP1 or PPP2? How would that impact that answer? Oh, you're on mute, Helen. Sorry.
So in order for the government to be able to budget and allocate funds properly, they're only really providing this relief to what they call small employers. And the way that they define a small employer for 2020 is that you have to have fewer than 100 full-time employees in 2019. However, they expanded the program so it's more applicable to larger nonprofits. So in 2021, as long as you have fewer than 500 full-time employees in 2019, essentially, as I mentioned earlier, every single person's wages would qualify towards this credit. So it's not really a credit because you are getting the full $26,000 back as a refundable amount in a form of an IRS check. So, just to kind of reiterate, this isn't a payroll credit to just reduce your payroll tax. It does come back in a refundable amount. So if you're under 500 full-time employees in 2019, essentially just 2021, you can qualify all wages. And then for 2020, you have to be fewer than 100. And then with PPP, it's really important to just kind of consider that even if you receive PPP, you can do both. It's just that the forgiven wages have to be excluded from the qualifying employee retention credit wages. So as long as you don't double dip, you can do both now. And I would say most of our clients, most of the nonprofits that we've been servicing have gotten both and have received a significant amount back from the government.
Thanks so much. So very useful information. We're going to wrap up our panel with what I would call a rapid fire question for the whole group. And here it is. And we'll ask you to give your briefest 1 to 2 sentence, 10 to 20 second response. What's the number one piece of advice you have for organizations that are looking to grow their corporate social responsibility initiatives and support nonprofits in the Los Angeles community? So think about your number one piece of advice. We're going to start with Randy.
Align your stakeholder interest and dive in.
Okay, great. Helen.
Fostering core values within your organization and just, making sure that within your company, you're always focusing on doing the right thing rather than just revenue.
Great. And Greg?
Listen to your community. Don't assume you know what they need. Really ask them what it is they need and work to help them achieve that or realize that. And
Christina?
Ask for feedback, not only from the nonprofit partner that you're working with, but also your employees. What interests them? How can you engage them?
Wonderful. Really super helpful advice from all of you. Thank you so much. This ends our panel. I want to thank you for all of your very thoughtful answers, but more importantly, for the important work you and your organizations are doing to support our communities. It's exciting to see innovators and innovative leaders working together so that we can achieve healthy, strong communities for all. Thank you so much. I will turn the virtual microphone back to Josh and the LA Business Journal.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Cutler. I don't think we could have started off with a more important conversation, educational, informative, and really appreciate everyone's time. Randy, Helen, Christina, and Greg, thank you all so much for providing your time and your input here. We're now going to move into our keynote speaker. So for the next 10 minutes, we're going to have a chance to hear a little bit about crypto philanthropy, what it means, how it's benefiting the nonprofit community, how it benefits and helps to work with the for-profit community. So please welcome Diamond Speaker, a sponsor, and our speaker today, Alex Wilson, co-founder of The Giving Block. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Josh. Excited to be here today and an awesome panel, everyone. So to start out, quick intro, as Josh mentioned, I'm one of the 2 co-founders of The Giving Block. At a very high level, we've started this new sort of industry of crypto philanthropy, where we're helping nonprofits accept crypto donations and ultimately get connected with the crypto community and helping nonprofits actually fundraise donations from this entirely new donor demographic. But before I get too far into kind of crypto philanthropy and why nonprofits are starting to accept crypto, I want to talk a bit about why we actually started the Giving Block, because I think it really fits into this conversation today about corporate citizenship and sort of business and nonprofit partnerships. So when my co-founder and I started this business in 2018, one of the reasons we started this was because we felt like nonprofits were kind of falling behind when it came to cutting edge technology or emerging technology. And we felt that for a long time, nonprofits were really being underserved when it came to technology, and that not enough entrepreneurs and founders were creating companies to serve nonprofits. And we really were kind of tired of seeing nonprofits being left behind, often being years behind when it came to new technology that the for-profit industry was using already. And we thought that crypto donations would actually be one area where nonprofits could really lead and be early adopters. And that was really part of the reason we decided to start the Giving Block. So we're really hoping that, kind of this emergence of crypto philanthropy and this crypto boom is going to help nonprofits stay on the forefront of technology. Hopefully crypto is just the beginning for a lot of them, but this sort of opens them up to a whole new world of innovation. And when we look at the nonprofit industry, when I tell other startup founders and other people I know that don't work in this industry, they're always shocked to hear that there's over 1.5 million nonprofits in the US alone. I think nonprofits play a much bigger role in everyone's everyday life than most people realize. Even based on its size, it's still changing so incredibly quickly. And I think we can all probably relate, similar to what was mentioned on the panel, COVID changed a lot of things, and fundraising for nonprofits is very different now than it was even just a couple of years ago. And the rate of change, similar to kind of the business world, has really accelerated. And nonprofits really need to keep up with that rate of change, especially when it comes to technology. And with COVID, it really accelerated that change, with nonprofits having to go digital. They had to scramble to think, all right, how am I going to offset my lost revenue from the gala I had to cancel, or from the golf tournament I had to cancel, the gala I had to cancel, all these physical things that were huge revenue drivers for a lot of nonprofits. And they were turning to new digital revenue streams and thinking, how can I diversify my revenue and how can I tap into new revenue streams ultimately? And interestingly, crypto really stood out for a lot of nonprofits. And this kind of technology transition for a lot of nonprofits plus COVID created a really interesting dynamic where they were all racing to go digital with pretty much everything they did. And that included new forms of taking donations. So crypto, stood out because it was sort of this perfect timing of the crypto markets also booming in 2020 especially, and the market grew incredibly. So there was a lot of people making a lot of money and therefore also donating quite a bit of crypto. Crypto certainly isn't quite mainstream yet, but it's come a long way in the last few years. And COVID ended up being one of our biggest catalysts as a company too. We started this company in 2018, but from 2020 to 2021, we went from working with 100 nonprofits to over 1,000. And now, just a few months into the year, we work with roughly 1,500 nonprofits and have raised over $100 million in crypto donations for the nonprofits we work with in a relatively short period of time. So crypto philanthropy has really, really been booming. And a question we get all the time from nonprofits is, well, who really has crypto? Who's using it? I don't have any crypto. I've never seen anyone use crypto. And the short answer is it's mostly younger people. It's a lot of millennials and Gen Z people that are storing a lot of their wealth in crypto. They prefer crypto over more traditional assets as well. So many younger people are investing in crypto instead of stocks and bonds. And nonprofits are usually shocked when we tell them that there's over 300 million people using crypto globally now, which is more than the amount of PayPal users that exist. And quite a few nonprofits, of course, have a PayPal donation method. And hundreds of millions of dollars are being donated in crypto now. And of course, this has been really appealing for nonprofits to hear that most of these donors are on the younger side. The other piece of this that people don't realize is, and I'll read a quick kind of stat from CNBC, but 83% of millennial millionaires own cryptocurrency, which seems crazy. And even crazier, more than half of millennials have at least 50% of their wealth in crypto, and nearly a third have at least 3/4 of their wealth in crypto. So with donor demographics shifting and a lot of donors getting older, it's more important than ever for nonprofits to start building these relationships with younger donors. And crypto is the asset class that they're choosing to store their wealth in. The next question we always get is, well, why would these people want to donate their crypto then versus donating cash or something like that? And the really easy answer to that is simply taxes. So the IRS has classified crypto as property, which means donating crypto is a lot like donating, public equities or any sort of stock. It's really tax efficient. It hasn't always been easy for people to donate stocks or other appreciated assets, but crypto has really been this perfect mix of it's really easy to use and donate for the donor and comes along with the same tax benefits of stock or other appreciated property donations. And to give you a sense of what kind of tax efficiency there is with it, for the donor, if they donate Bitcoin, they don't have to pay capital gains tax that they otherwise would if they sold that crypto, and they get a fair market value deduction at the time that they make that donation. And of course, if they're donating to a registered charity, the charity's tax exempt as well. So the charity isn't paying any taxes on either. So that means the charity is getting probably 25 to 30% more in terms of the donation dollars, and the donor isn't paying capital gains taxes, and their write-off is going to be 25 to 30% higher as well. So it's really an amazing win-win for both sides. And it's been really interesting to see that so many of these crypto donors are actually only donating in crypto once they realize there's this tax benefit, because they don't want to sell their crypto, pay 20 or 30% taxes, and then not be able to donate as much. It just doesn't make sense for them to donate cash if they have appreciated crypto. So that's really one of these huge driving factors for this crypto philanthropy boom. And just to end these last few minutes, I think people would be surprised to hear what kinds of nonprofits are accepting crypto. We work with roughly 1,500, but it can be your local school, it can be a local church, it could be a local chapter of a food bank or a YMCA, but then also the huge ones too: colleges, universities, Save the Children, St. Jude, United Way Worldwide, DAF programs. And I'll give a couple quick examples too of case studies before I run out of time. But one of our clients, American Cancer Society, has really seen the marketing power basically of accepting crypto. When we started taking Dogecoin donations for our clients, roughly a year ago, we encouraged them to all tweet about how they now take Dogecoin donations. And you've probably seen Doge mentioned in the news before. And when American Cancer tweeted out, "Hey, we now accept Dogecoin donations," that was one of their most engaging tweets of all time. They were shocked by how much engagement it got and how much just social media activity in general it drove for them. And as a result, donations too. They've raised over $1 million in their first year fundraising crypto now. So beyond just the kind of revenue outcomes, nonprofits are really seeing significant marketing benefits too, especially when it comes to connecting with younger donors. The other really quick case study I'll mention before we wrap up is one of our smaller clients, Orangutan Outreach. They're a smaller charity with about a $500K a year annual budget. They've been working with us for, maybe 18 months now, maybe coming up on 2 years. And in their first year, they decided they were going to go all in on crypto. They were going to market it like crazy on social media. They were really going to get connected with people. And they actually got really into NFTs. They got involved in the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT community, which, if you're not familiar with it, probably sounds like a crazy thing. But they ended up raising over $1 million in crypto and NFT related donations. So they actually tripled the size of their budget quite a bit in 1 year of taking crypto and NFTs. So those are two quick examples of how nonprofits are really embracing crypto and NFTs to change their fundraising outcomes. And I'll just end this saying, I think it's really important that, businesses and companies around the world really help nonprofits embrace technology and help them stay on the forefront. So thanks for having me, everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. What a fascinating discussion that was. I mentioned that I came from a lunch and prior to this, and this was the topic of conversation. It was mentioned that we are having you as our speaker today. And there were a lot of questions that came up. How does the nonprofit benefit? Why this versus cash? And I think you provided some really interesting things to think about. My quick math, you said 150 million raised, 1,500 nonprofits. That's $100,000 on average each. Obviously, that it's a mean, but it's impactful. And I think this is an interesting conversation. Congratulations to you on the success of your company, and I wish you the best. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to take a look now. We're going to move into the part that has us all the most excited about, and probably what everybody's anticipating. It's the awards. So let's now take a quick look at the absolute best, the most impressive, and the most impactful businesses, organizations, and leaders who are paving the way. The class of 2022 award nominees. Wow, that was really impressive. You know, as I watched all the faces and the people and the organizations go across the screen, it was a reminder of just how impressive this year's group of nominees was, and what an honor it was for all of us, the judging group, everybody here at the Business Journal. They had a chance to read their stories, the impressive work being done by the nonprofit community, all of the activity of the for-profits and the leadership. Congratulations to all of you just for being a part of this. And now we're going to announce finalists and ultimately winners. Our first awards are the individual awards, and there's 7 award categories. And then we're going to move to our organizational awards, to which there are 9 categories. So I'd like to welcome back Platinum sponsor Helen Hahn with R&D Incentives Group, who's going to be joining me with the first part of the program on the awards. Helen, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm very excited to announce some of these nominees and really pay respects to all those nonprofits that have done so much for the community. Perfect. So the first category is going to be for the Volunteer of the Year. Our finalists are Mary Connors, volunteer, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Mary has been a volunteer for over 10 years, increasing her volunteer hours during a time when most people were reducing theirs. Second, we have Kristin Garamani, owner of Garamani Wines. Kristin has assisted Exceptional Children's Foundation in raising more than $1 million and is responsible for elevating their donor network by 20%. And finally, Dick Koopmans, chair of the Giving Spirit Outreach Committee. Dick's community work has ensured that over 25,000 care kits reached homeless lives of all backgrounds and have helped them survive. And the 2022 Volunteer of the Year honoree is Kristin Garamani with Garamani Wines. Kristin's with us today. We would like to invite you to say a few words.
First of all, thank you so much. Thank you to the LA Business Journal. Thank you to Scott Bowling and all the wonderful people at the Exceptional Children's Foundation. I am honored and humbled to receive this award, especially seeing all the incredible people that were nominated. I feel that it is my duty to give back, and as I mentioned, my honor to give back. And I always feel that every year you can do more. The past 2 years have been exceptionally challenging for the world. And wonderful organizations like the Exceptional Children's Foundation just had extra hurdles above and beyond what they normally have to provide. And it is one of my favorite charities, one of the favorite organizations that I help. And at Garamani Wines, we are committed to helping the community now and always. And thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations, Kristin, and congratulations to our other finalists as well. All right, up next, we've got our Nonprofit Executive of the Year, Growing Business category. Our finalists are Deborah Donovan, Executive Director, Valley Village. Deborah has worked at Valley Village for over 32 years and has proven to be a great leader serving the disabled. Tunisha Offray, President, Domestic Violence Advocate, Shepherd's Door Domestic Violence Resource and Educational Center. Ms. Offray provides youth violence prevention education in high schools and middle schools in the community. Gary Polk, CEO and co-founder, Polk Institute. Gary is passionate about entrepreneurs and why they succeed or fail, and has written 3 books on the topic. Danella Wilson, President and Chief Philanthropy Officer, GHJ Foundation. Danella has dedicated her career, time, and expertise to be the vehicle of change in the nonprofit community for over 25 years. Lisa Young, Executive Director, The Rescue Train. Lisa's programs have helped senior, veteran, low-income, and homeless pet owners keep their pets instead of winding up in the city shelters or in the streets. Congratulations to all of you. The honoree in this category is Gary Polk with Polk Institute. Congratulations, Gary. Please take yourself off mute and join us for a few words.
All right, thank you. Wow, what an honor. First of all, I want to thank the LA Business Journal for this honor. This is very humbling, as this is just our second year of operation. And our mission is to serve social entrepreneurs to help make the world a better place. And we're definitely mission driven. We came out of the COVID-19 and wanted to be a positive force. Secondly, I want to thank my leadership team, because without them and their 7,000 plus hours of volunteerism, there would be no Polk Institute. So I'd like, if you bear with me, I want to go down my list of Mike Manahan, CFO, Tim Dorr, COO, Jeff Hybus, CMO, Michael Chua, Chief Counsel, Claudine Polk, Chief of Staff and Director of Client Success, Devin Blaine, PR Director, Jason Clark, Director of Creativity, Liliana Nahara, Social Media Director, Alice Taylor, Director of Grants, Aaron Thompson, Director of Global Partnerships, Alex Williams III, Director of Talent Acquisition, Gracia Nikes, Director of Recruiting, Alton Takabayashi, Director of Mentors, Celeste Young Ramos, HR Director, Terry Batch, Advisory Board Chair, our newest leadership team member, Gilbert Buchanan, Director of Curriculum, and last but not least, Kelly Mundungo, Volunteer Associate. So you can see we have a great team, and it's humbling to be with this team. And I just want to say thank them for making this happen. What a team.
Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you.
Up next, we have the Nonprofit Executive of the Year category for mid-sized. And the finalists are Tim Ingram, Director of Finance and Operations of the Giving Spirit. Tim provides the dedication and leadership that is needed for enriching the quality of life for all community members. Second, we have Steve McFarland, CEO of Better Business Bureau. Steve works closely with the LADA office, Department of Consumer Affairs and Attorney General, to stop businesses from taking advantage of the community. Third, we have Alice Morris Winston, CEO and founder, the Jeffrey Foundation. Alice has created business and donor relationships whose support is vital to funding the foundation's much needed operations. Fourth, we have Bruce Rankin, Executive Director of Westside Food Bank. Bruce is committed to their mission to end hunger in our communities by providing access to free, nutritious food and by advocating for a strong food assistance network. And lastly, we have Renata Simro, President of Play Equity Fund. Renata was recently appointed Governor, Newsroom's Advisory Council on Physical Fitness as well as mental well-being. And the honoree for this category is Bruce Rankin from the Westside Food Bank. Bruce, welcome and congratulations.
Wow, what an honor and what a great group to be with. And kudos to the LA Business Journal and everything that this event represents, the activation of connections between the business community and the nonprofit world. I suspect that my getting this award has something to do with my longevity in nonprofit work. I came to work for the food bank over 3 decades ago, and one month from today I'll be retiring. So I'm 75 years old, and it's time to move on. But I feel a little embarrassed actually getting this award because leaders in social service nonprofits usually have to put up with a lot that I haven't had to put up with running a food bank. We haven't had to worry about not in my backyard issues. We're kind of an industrial function in an industrial part of town, getting food to our member agencies. We don't have to worry as much about what happens when we have a bad year in terms of income. I'm not staying awake at night wondering who to lay off. We can accomplish shrinkage by buying less food, which is terrible, but it's not as immediate to our work at the food bank. And our clients, we have a hard time getting our clients to complain about anything. their social service agencies, so we don't have tough encounters with clients who are under stress that lots of people do in nonprofit social service work. But I want to give a lot of thanks out. It's been a wonderful ride for me over these 3 decades. The staff at the food bank, our great board, the member agencies that we serve, the whole social service network in the community, the people who end up getting our food through the member agencies we serve, who are working to feed their families and to get back into economic stability. That's what's made it been just a powerful and wonderful experience for me. And also, I want to thank my wife, Catherine. I met Catherine on the very first day of my work at Westside Food Bank, August 14th, 1989. I was doing a visit to one of our member agencies, St. Joseph Center, where Catherine worked. So that's been actually the best part probably of all of it. But a wonderful thing for me is that 1 month from now, when I retire, it's going to be Genevieve Riatort, who takes over for me. Some of you'll know Genevieve. She's worked for the food bank for a couple of decades and has recently been our deputy director. And there's a lot of challenges ahead for the food bank. An interesting challenge that many of you will appreciate is we're going to be needing to find expanded warehouse space on the west side of Los Angeles County. So wish us luck on that one. Thank you all so much. Really, this tickles me.
Congratulations, Bruce, and thank you for 3 decades of service.
You bet.
You will. All right, next up, we've got the Nonprofit Executive of the Year, Large Organization category. The final star, Kelly Bruno, CEO, National Health Foundation. Kelly oversees programs that are changing the way neighborhoods can access healthy foods and is making it easier for South LA residents to exercise and be active. Charity Chandler Cole, Chief Executive Officer, Casa Los Angeles. Charity works passionately to address the issues and challenges plaguing LA communities, women, and youth. And Adam Garamani, CEO, Starlight Children's Foundation. Adam develops the staff to continue to grow long-standing relationships with LA-based companies. Congratulations to all 3 of you. The honoree in this category is Kelly Bruno with National Health Foundation. Congratulations, Kelly.
Thank you very much. I am humbled and honored to receive this award today from LA Business Journal. For the past 15 years, I've had the privilege of leading
Kelly, I'm going to interrupt you only because I want to let you know your cameras fell a little bit.
Oh no.
I want you to have your moment here. So there you go. You're back.
Is that better?
Yes. That's
all
better.
Right. For the past 15 years, I've had the privilege of leading National Health Foundation as its CEO. We've had so many amazing accomplishments over the years and have helped thousands of worthy humans. But looking back, I believe our greatest success has not revolved around what we do, but how we do it. About 3 years ago, National Health Foundation adopted a collaborative leadership style, meaning that the traditional hierarchy collapses. And instead you have a true leadership team that equally shares both the power and the responsibility. NHF's leadership team is made up of not only me, but also includes Mia Arias, our Chief Operating Officer, and Danielle Cameron, our Chief Strategy Officer. Trust me, we do not always agree, but that is the point. More voices, more diversity, and better outcomes. COVID was a difficult time for all of us, but it was incredibly difficult for NHF. But somehow, despite COVID, NHF not only survived, we actually thrived. And I tell people the reason that happened is because we had 3 CEOs, not just one. So today I share this award with my 2 partners in crime, Danielle and Mia, 2 visionary, impactful, and all around incredible female leaders. Danielle and Mia, I'm honored to round out our trifecta. You are both rock stars. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Moving on to the Nonprofit Executive of the Year, the Enterprise category. The finalists are Scott Bowling, President and CEO of Exceptional Children's Foundation. Scott has dedicated his career to improving the lives of thousands of individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. Next, we have Dr. Blaine Cutler, President and Chief Executive Officer of Haluna Health. Dr. Cutler is committed to the mission of Haluna Health, enhancing the health, wellness, and the resilience of every community they serve. Next, we have Michael Flood, President and CEO, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Michael led the food bank to mobilize one of the greatest food relief efforts in LA County, with 131 million pounds of food being provided in 2021. Then we have Veronica Flores, CEO, Community Health Councils. Veronica has grown CHC from less than 1 million to just under 20 million in the last 5 years. Lastly, Amanda Green, Chief Operations Officer of Union Station Homeless Services. Amanda's department coordinates the efforts of over 1,400 volunteers who work in kitchens to prepare meals. And the honoree of this category is Michael Flood with Los Angeles Regional Bank. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Please unmute and say a few words.
Great, thank you, Helen. Thank you to the LA Business Journal for this honor. I greatly appreciate this recognition and want to extend congratulations to everyone who's been nominated. I mean, I know many of you and you're doing tremendous work in your areas and in your fields. I've had the privilege of leading the LA Regional Food Bank for the past 22 years, and I continue to be amazed by the team we have here and our broader network. One thing I've learned is one of the most important aspects of being in the role of the food bank or a nonprofit organization is really to help build a foundation for this work. And this foundation starts with developing a supportive and inclusive culture at the food bank, so people want to come to work here, feel engaged, and can grow both professionally and personally. In addition to the great team we have at the food bank, we rely heavily on volunteers, thousands of volunteers, to get our work accomplished, including our volunteer board of directors. And that foundational work is really critically important in that regard. And as we look at our broader network, our food and financial donors, partner agencies providing help at the local level who are just doing really Herculean work in providing help to those needing help and assistance, government partners and others. Establishing a strong foundation of the food bank is critical to these partnerships working to meet our mission. As Helen mentioned, these last 2 years and the results for the food bank has been a significant test, and we have stretched in terms of acquiring and distributing food both to our partner agencies and directly to families, to people, children, older adults throughout Los Angeles County in partnership with many, many organizations to make that happen. At the height of the pandemic, we're reaching more than 1 million residents of LA County who were struggling to feed themselves and their families. For me personally, it's been important to surround myself with great people, both professionally and in my personal life. And I know this recognition that I'm receiving today and my daily work is possible because of many, many other people. So I want to thank everyone for this. And again, very much humbled by this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Michael. I want to congratulate all of the nonprofit executives in all of those categories, which incidentally were ranked and sorted based on operating revenue, in case you were curious. Okay, so we're down to our final 2 individual categories of the program before we move into our organizations. We're going to start with Philanthropist of the Year. Our finalists are Donald Goodman, founder and CEO, Don Lee Farms. Donald has guided the LA Regional Food Bank through his volunteer leadership, strategic planning, and generous philanthropic support, which includes both financial and food donations. Rick Powell, full-time volunteer fundraiser. Rick continues to open doors of opportunity to prospective donors, board members, and corporate sponsors for JVS SoCal events, volunteers, and more. And Joe Sandberg, founder, Ago Partners. Joe has contributed significant financial support to promote a minimum wage increase. assist low-income families, provide resources to LA County hospitals, and combat climate change. And the Philanthropist of the Year honoree is Donald Goodman with Don Lee Farms. Don, please join us, say a few words.
Well, thank you, Josh. I'm really honored by this. I really learned about philanthropy at an early age by observing my parents. It may have been by watching my mom helping children who were not properly provided for, or hearing of my dad's desire to help people with their basic needs through supporting the UCLA Santa Monica Hospital or the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. It just became a part of my life, and I must say, it's been very gratifying for me personally to be able to help others. I want to thank Los Angeles Business Journal for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. And the final individual award of this afternoon is Business Angel of the Year. The finalists are Ava Amirian, CEO of Pinnacle Communication Services. Ava has impacted the lives of thousands of students over the past 21 years of being a board member of Junior Achievement of Southern California. Next, we have C.N. Franklin Reddick III, partner of Aiken Gump Strauss Hauer and Feld. Under Frank's leadership, Aiken Gump provided 11,044 hours of pro bono work to the KIPP SoCal. And then last, we have Kristin Simmons, COO of Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts of Sciences. Simmons arranged for in-kind donations of tickets and transportation to LA Sparks games, creating magical field trips for the LA Best Children. And the honoree of this category is C.N. Franklin Reddick III. Here to accept the award on Frank's behalf is Carlos Bermudez, partner at Aiken Gump Strauss Hauer and Feld.
Thank you. It's my honor to accept the Business Angel of the Year award on behalf of Frank Reddick, our beloved Aiken Gump partner and leader of our Los Angeles office who passed away earlier this year. Frank was not a man that dabbled. When he set his mind and his heart to something, he poured himself into it. This was never more evident than in Frank's 15-year relationship with KIPP SoCal, during which he served on the KIPP SoCal board, including 10 years as chairman, and dedicated hundreds of board service and pro bono hours every year to help KIPP SoCal grow into what it is today. 23 high-achieving public charter schools in Southern California that, in Frank's own words, provide an environment where kids will be able to find true opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise. The strength of Frank's ties to and love for KIPP SoCal were highlighted at his memorial, during which Marcia Aaron, the former KIPP SoCal executive director, spoke movingly about Frank and focused specifically on his ability to connect with the parents of KIPPsters, many of whom had not graduated high school and would seem to have very little in common with a nationally renowned corporate lawyer. However, Frank, himself the father of 4 girls, understood these parents' desire to advocate for their children and made sure that their voices were heard by the KIPP SoCal board and that their concerns were addressed. Frank was a leading light for the Los Angeles nonprofit community, our firm, our office, and our city. He will be greatly missed. On Frank's and his family's behalf, I would like to thank the LA Business Journal for this award.
Thank you, Carlos, so much for sharing Frank's story and for sharing a little bit more about the impact that he had, and our congratulations and appreciation go out to the Reddick family. Thank you all so much. All right, we're moving along now to our organization awards. And here with me, please welcome back Platinum sponsor, Randy Barth of Think Together. Randy, welcome back.
Thank you, Josh, and excited to move forward with this category. So the first organization award is for the most innovative awareness campaign. And we really had some great nominations for this. The finalists are the Call of Duty Endowment. To address the issue of veteran employment, the endowment set out on a mission to address veteran medics and hospital correspondents through their Call of Duty video game. Very innovative. The Goldhurst Foundation and LA 2050. The main initiative of LA 2050 is the Grants Challenge, an annual open call for ideas to make LA the best place to learn, create, play, connect, and live. The third nomination is the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Since the Help for Hungry campaign began, they have provided the equivalent of almost 1.5 million meals to people in need throughout Los Angeles County. The fourth nominee is One Legacy. One Legacy served as the lead sponsor for the Donate Life Rose Parade float in Pasadena, celebrating and sharing the power of organ, eye, and tissue donations. And our fifth finalist is the Play Equity Fund. By developing strong partnerships and innovative programs such as Super Bowl 56 Legacy Program, they are committed to bringing the transformative power of sport and play to communities and kids across Los Angeles. And now the honoree for the most innovative awareness campaign goes to the Call of Duty Endowment. And here to accept the award is Brian Bilateo, Chief Administrative Officer of Activision Blizzard and a director on the Call of Duty Endowment Board. Brian, can you say a few words?
Thank you. We are so grateful for this honor. The Call of Duty Endowment, founded 13 years ago by Bobby Kotick, has been a positive force for change in veteran employment. Since LA County is home to America's largest veteran population, it's especially poignant to be honored by the LA Business Journal for our work. To date, we have funded the placement of over 100,000 veterans into meaningful employment. And as a veteran myself, I'm incredibly proud of our endowment, our grantees, and especially proud of the thousands of Activision Blizzard employees who volunteer their time and talents to the endowment each year. We have a laser-focused approach to social impact. We picked a single meaningful issue, took time to deeply understand it, focused our resources on addressing the root cause, and scaled what worked. And in the course of this results-oriented work, we learned the shocking fact that roughly half of former medics and corpsmen who wanted to work in the health industry couldn't find jobs there. So our Call of Duty Endowment Medical Heroes integrated marketing campaign, which is being honored tonight, focused a large range of company resources to setting this right, and we're starting to see positive change emerge. Thank you to the LA Business Journal for this recognition. Our work is far from done. I encourage you all to make a commitment to actively hiring veterans of our armed forces and recognize the leadership, training, character, and discipline that veterans will bring to your company and to the American workforce. Thank you.
Congratulations, Brian. This was such a fascinating category to read through as the nominations came in. Just the creativity of what some of these campaigns was outstanding. This one in particular really stood out. Just the connection, it was intuitive, it was clever, and it was impactful with great results. Congratulations to you and everybody else in this category as well.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we've got our fundraising event of the year. The finalists are Casa of Los Angeles. They hosted their 9th annual Evening to Foster Dreams gala virtually. The event was catered via delivery to participants, hosted entertainment, and had major donors and celebrities. Claire's Place Foundation. The 2021 7th annual Globe Ride surpassed their goal, raising over $51,000 and was their biggest turnout yet. Law Rocks. Since its inaugural year in 2012, Law Rocks Los Angeles has raised over $1 million and contributed to amazing local nonprofit organizations. Race for the Rescues. Race for the Rescues has made an impact to Los Angeles communities by providing a fundraising platform for local grassroots animal welfare organizations. Water Buffalo Club. They host local Thanksgiving meal giveaways to help underserved children in Los Angeles, and in 2021, the project provided assistance to 2,000 families. The honoree in this category is Casa of Los Angeles. Here with us today is its Chief Development Officer, Marie Carpenter. Marie, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Josh, and thank you to the LA Business Journal. I must commend you for continuing your efforts in holding these award ceremonies virtually. We know it's not an easy task to have events in the virtual space, and last year We certainly had hoped to host our gala in person. However, it was not the time. We are very humbled by this honor, and it means so much. Casa Los Angeles organizes community volunteers to advocate for children and families impacted by LA County's overburdened child welfare and juvenile justice systems. And our work depends on fundraising events like our gala. And without that funding, we simply cannot continue to advance justice for our children. They need our advocacy so that they can receive access to education, healthcare, and stable housing in order to thrive. We knew we could not cancel the gala. We knew we had to host an engaging gala to raise the funds. And we also knew we had to keep it interesting. And typically we host the event at the Beverly Hilton with over 700 attendees. However, we quickly pivoted to a virtual live event. And despite the challenges, the gala had a turnout of over 300 guests, and the virtual program has been viewed by over more than 500 times. It was hosted by Ashley and Topher Grace and featured entertainment by David Foster, Catherine McPhee, and Moby. And it was really important for us to work with our partner organization, Homegirl Cafe, who catered the entire event and delivered all the meals the night of. And we also kicked it off with a cocktail reception virtually, a magic show, and a stand-up comedy, and kept our guests engaged with a live auction and a unique dunk tank fundraiser with some of our major donors and celebrities. We were also really just pleased to honor our friends and supporters, Aaron Foster, Focusing Philanthropy, our founders, Jacqueline Dolan, and the late Honorable Peter Giannini, who have done so much work with children in LA County and in underserved communities in LA County. And by the end of the evening, we raised over $630,000, which will provide 157 children with one-on-one advocacy for 1 year. And in addition, we have been able to utilize our virtual program to raise more awareness around our mission. So you can see it truly was a labor of love. And we're very proud of our team and what we've been able to accomplish in a virtual space. And we're very thankful for everyone who was involved in producing the gala. And on National Volunteer Appreciation Week, I want to take this opportunity to thank our over 1,000 dedicated CASA volunteers who work tirelessly and advocate fiercely for our CASA children and youth. And I'm also very excited to announce that our 10th annual Reimagine Gala will be in person this year at the Skirball Center on May 10th. You now have heard what we've done virtually. I would like to invite you to see and be a part of how we reimagine child advocacy for our most vulnerable children and families. And thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you, Marie. Thanks for being so nimble and doing such a great job with the hand you were dealt. So congratulations once again. Next up, we have our outstanding collaboration between business and a nonprofit, one of my favorite categories. Again, as Josh said in the earlier category, we really had a lot of creative partnerships here. And so we want to highlight some of these for you. So the first one is Education Through Music. So that's a nonprofit and partnering with NBC Universal. From the partnership challenge, hashtag Sing Together Challenge, was created as a contest on TikTok to engage stakeholders and consumers in conversation about the Sing 2 film while celebrating the power of music. So we got crypto and TikTok. So old timers like me, we got some leaning in to do in the new environment. Second up, we've got Etco Homes, One Coast, and the Los Angeles Surfrider Foundation. The philanthropic partnership was designed to make a direct impact on Sunset Beach. The third partnership is Kirkland and Ellis and the Alliance for College Ready Public Schools Foundation. In 2020, Kirkland and Ellis committed to a 5-year partnership focusing on ensuring that all Alliance schools are welcoming and affirming for all scholars. Next up, we have the US Bank and the United Way of Greater Los Angeles. With the US Bank support, United Way has launched their affordable housing initiative, which will invest in 10 developments for people experiencing homelessness. And finally, we have Wells Fargo and the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation, the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce, the Local Initiative Support Corporation in Los Angeles, the Dr. Lucy Jones Center for Science and Society, and the Institute for Sustainable Development. The founding members of Together for LA formed this collaboration to address the COVID-19 economic crisis by significantly expanding business technical assistance services to LA County small businesses and micro enterprises. So once again, a great category. And the honoree is the Education Through Music and NBC Universal. And here to accept the award is Victoria Lanier, the Executive Director of Education Through Music Los Angeles. Victoria, congratulations.
Hi, wow, thank you so much. On behalf of everyone at Education Through Music LA and thousands of students across LA County, thank you so much for this award to the LA Business Journal for truly shining a spotlight on the vital work of nonprofits and the importance of key partnerships. So we believe all students deserve equity and access to quality music instruction as part of a well-rounded education. And in our 16th year, we've grown to reach over 18,500 students in under-resourced schools. Students like Isaac learned how to express his emotions and he's gaining motivation to come to school. Students like Ruby and Isaiah are finding a safe space socially and emotionally in their music class. Schools and teachers are sharing how students are more connected, more confident through learning music. But we share this award. We are grateful to NBC Universal and Illumination on the film Sing 2 to help amplify our mission to expand programs, not just in LA, but also nationally with ETM. And just as Sing 2 honors the life-changing power of music and the theme, dreaming big to reach your goals, our strategic alignment in storytelling, raising awareness, and collaboration through music truly helped amplify positive outcomes for our students in schools. This award, it's about partnership and it's truly a team effort to keep music in schools. So through music, creativity, and innovation, we can truly uplift our communities and the future leaders of tomorrow. Just a huge shout out to our amazing team and everyone involved at Education Through Music LA, to our school partners, all of our partners, and to ETM National. Thank you so much once again for this tremendous award.
Congratulations, Victoria. Another just really fascinating category for us to read. And, you know, as I think about it and as I'm looking at and hearing about the finalists, as we recap it a little bit, this category sort of epitomizes what this entire program is about. It's the collaboration between the nonprofit community and our good corporate citizens and the business community. Fantastic nominations in this category. Congratulations to all of our finalists as well. All right, we're going to move on to Nonprofit Organization of the Year, mid-size category. The finalists are Clifford Beers Housing. They've developed over 760 affordable apartment homes throughout Southern California. For People of Color, Inc., they're a leader in efforts to diversify the law profession through supporting underrepresented college students to gain access to law school. ICANN California Abilities Network. ICANN directly impacts the lives of individuals in the community with developmental disabilities, life skills, social events, and support employment services. Jazz Hands for Autism. They provide individualized music-based training, vocational development, and job placement for musicians with autism. LACBA Council for Justice. Council for Justice brings together law firms, foundations, corporations, donors, and volunteers in support of a more just LA. Our honoree in this category is For People of Color, Inc. Board member Willie Brown is here to join us today. Congratulations, Willie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Josh. I just wanted to, on the behalf of the Board of Directors of For People of Color, Inc., thank the LA Business Journal for this great honor. We are very just thrilled about this program that you've put on, and we know that we're just only one of all these incredible groups that do all this work to make the world a better place, both in the business world and otherwise. Since our founding in 1998 by our board member Anthony Solana. We have talked to, I would say, literally thousands of college students, or not only college students, but just folks who have a dream of being a lawyer. And they may be from a community where they don't even know what a lawyer is, like how I grew up. Some of us can kind of understand that. And so you have this dream of being a lawyer, and so you start to look to where you can get support. And so we have tried to provide that support, but we really are inspired by all of our students and the folks who attend our workshops and who enlist our services, because what it does, it helps them to figure out what it is inside them and who they are, to be an asset or to be someone who belongs in this profession eventually. Starting out with the person finding out who they are to be in law school, because a lot of them don't think they can make it. So we are very inspired by the work we do. I want to thank all the supporters, the donors, the LA Business Journal, also for elevating, I guess you could say the work, and all the endeavors and all the dreams of all the nonprofits and of all the folks, the individuals, the organizations who do all this incredible work to really affect change in our society, whether it be diversity, whether it be economic empowerment, whether it be social justice. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody. We are truly honored.
Well, congratulations, Willie. I was on the panel helping to review these. And again, as Josh was saying, another category with so many great organizations, and just congratulations again on the work of for people of color and helping to diversify the world of law here in Southern California. So really hats off to you guys. Next up is the environment that I live in. It's the Nonprofit Organization of the Year for large organizations. And so I know the challenges that these kind of organizations face to sustain and succeed in difficult environments. And so I want to salute the following finalists. Number one is the American Cancer Society. ACS works with hospitals and clinics to ensure there are appropriate resources and trustworthy information to improve the lives of diverse populations. Second nominee is New Economics for Women. New provided emergency assistance and support to essential workers and caregivers facing hardships and massive layoffs, with over 265,000 meals and direct cash transfers during COVID through the Angelino Fund. Our third finalist is Olive Crest. For 50 years, Olive Crest has been a leader in the prevention and treatment of child abuse, serving 5,000 children and families each day throughout the Los Angeles area. Our fourth finalist is Raise a Child. The Raise a Child Parent Advocate Program is a complimentary service designed to advance prospective foster and adoptive parents with their family building goals. And finally, the fifth finalist is the Starlight Foundation, the Starlight Children's Foundation. Starlight programs transform hospital experiences of young patients and help make an unfamiliar place feel safe and comfortable. And the honoree is New Economics for Women. Maggie Cervantes is here with us this afternoon, the executive director with New, and is here to say a few words. Congrats, Maggie, and welcome.
Thank you, Randy. I hope you can see me. I don't see myself on camera, but I'll go ahead and not delay with a couple of words that I do want to say. So thank you to the Los Angeles Business Journal for their amazing award to us. We are truly grateful and honored. And on behalf of New, I would like to thank our board of directors, our sponsors, government partners for your trust, your confidence, and support over the last 37 years. And just a little bit more about New Economics for Women. We believe economic mobility is a fundamental right, and our passion is driven by our vision to end generational poverty, empowering women and their families to thrive. And we do that by first providing an array of services, but more importantly to this audience, helping startups and existing businesses through our Women's Business Center and recently launched East Los Angeles Business Source Center. In the last 9 months alone, the Women's Business Center has facilitated and created over 61 new businesses, 230 new jobs, served a total of 2,800 clients. And from that client base, a total of $4.6 million in small business loans. And that client base also generated sales revenue totaling over $30 million. And so you can see we have an array of services that we provide. And in the last 2 years, just like everybody else has said, due to COVID, it's been very challenging, but I'm proud to say that NEW made its most significant economic impact to date, producing and protecting more than 78 million in direct services and assets. And we stayed open this entire time, and we're the first line of defense to our clients. And a very sincere thank you to our exceptional professional staff at NEW who are making a real impact in the lives of the people we serve. So thank you for this honor.
Congratulations, Maggie, and to all the other 4 finalists in that category. We are down to our final 4 awards here. This next one is for Nonprofit Organization of the Year, Enterprise category, our largest category. The finalists are Children's Bureau. Children's Bureau is known for its work in child abuse prevention, providing parents with education, tools, and resources needed to raise successful children. LA Family Housing. They focused much of 2021 on a renewed investment in their staff and operational infrastructure in order to meet growing demands in COVID-19 and our region's homeless crisis. Mental Health America of LA. Mental Health America, their employment services team, has helped over 480 individuals secure employment and over 1,300 previously homeless members find housing. Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern California. Since 1977, they've provided comfort, care, and support to children and families confronting pediatric medical emergencies. And Skid Row Housing Trust. They celebrated the grand opening of 2 projects last year, providing over 150 permanent supportive housing units in Skid Row. Congratulations to all of our finalists. The honoree in this category for Enterprise Nonprofit Organization of the Year is Skid Row Housing Trust. Their president and CEO, Sierra Talano, is here with us. Congratulations, Sierra. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. We are grateful for the honor of being named Los Angeles Business Journal's Nonprofit of the Year. When I look at the organizations and individuals recognized today, I'm truly humbled. Collectively, the work that we do is so incredibly important and necessary, and not without its challenges. Thank you to everyone who is nominated for your dedication to realizing the promise of an inclusive and thriving Los Angeles. Skid Row Housing Trust's mission is to provide permanent supportive housing so that people who have experienced homelessness, prolonged extreme poverty, poor health, disabilities, mental illness, and/or addiction can lead safe and stable lives in wellness. Founded in 1989, the Trust has ended homelessness for more than 10,000 people in one of 27 residential communities. Last year, we had the privilege of opening Floor 401 and 649 Lofts, 2 AAA funded projects that provide 152 permanent supportive housing units in Skid Row. We also completed development on Joshua House Health Center, a medical clinic owned and operated by our friends and partners at LA Christian Health Centers. Joshua House services medical, dental, and mental needs of up to 7,000 Angelinos a year. And in just a couple of months, we'll celebrate the grand opening of our latest project, SP7, which will welcome 99 neighbors. This progress would not have been possible without LA voters who passed both Proposition HHH and Measure H in 2016, and a dogged determination of our real estate development team and our finance and construction partners who, through the uncertainties of the pandemic, to bring these projects online. I also want to take a moment to honor our incredibly hardworking staff, our board, our team members, and our residents are truly the heart of our organization, and this honor is dedicated to them. Thanks again.
Thank you, Sierra. And we know how much this kind of housing it's just so critical in LA today with our giant homeless problem. And so we just wanted to salute you and Skid Row Housing once again for your tremendous work. Next up, we have the Nonprofit Team of the Year. And we got, once again, 5 finalists. So first one is Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. They took the initiative to quickly iterate the food bank's mobile pantry program during the beginning of the pandemic, allowing them to reach a record number of food insecure families, as you heard from some of the earlier awards. Second up, Providence. Providence Health Equity Hypertension Project team's key objectives have been to reduce high blood pressure as a health disparity among communities of color in Southern California. Our third finalist is STEM Advantage. The mentorship program includes 200 STEM professionals who volunteer as one-to-one mentors for STEM Advantage scholars, again, advancing equity through education. Fourth up, the Wayfinder Family Services. The Wayfinder senior team brings life to the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. When COVID-19 disrupted Los Angeles, the team stepped up. And finally, Your Golden Ticket. YGT raises money and donations to provide tickets to once-in-a-lifetime experiences for those less fortunate, and also provides transportation and a stipend for food and souvenirs. And the honoree is the Wayfinder Family Services. Mickey Jordan, the Chief Executive Officer, is here with us today. Mickey, please unmute and say a few words.
Thank you, Randy. I'm very honored to be able to accept this award today on behalf of our senior leadership team. And I would like to thank the LA Business Journal and also Robert Held of Held Properties for nominating us. After listening to everyone's stories, we were faced with the same daunting circumstances as everyone on this call and at this event. Our senior team leads a staff of 500 and a budget of 48 million, and we serve 20,000 kids, adults, and families every year through direct services of mental health, residential, in-home, foster care, adoption, and I could go on and on. Our main goal was to keep our financials intact so we could keep all of our staff, but the first priority was to continue serving these clients. And our senior team was able to do that. We did not close. We continued our services without even stopping for a day. And we actually increased our services because our kids and adults and families are some of the most vulnerable in our community, as they are for most of you. Our team really believes that you need to do whatever it takes. And we did just that. And we've grown and even serve more kids, families, adults, and most importantly, walk side by side with these kids and families through one of the most difficult times in any of our histories, at least my history and lifetime. So thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, Mickey, and everybody in that team category. It takes a team, as they say. All right, we're down to our final 2 awards of today's program, starting with Business Angel of the Year. The finalists are Inaba Foods USA. Inaba donates hundreds of thousands of dollars of their pet products annually to animal welfare nonprofits and city shelters. The Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have provided more than 2,000 hours of community service and engaged all Inglewood Unified School District schools in the team's community programs. North Star Moving Company. North Star Moving contributes time, services, and financial support to 28 community-focused charities and socially conscious organizations. Ralph's has pioneered an outreach program serving the homeless in partnership with the LA Mission at their store locations. And US Bank. US Bank's unified giving and engagement strategy, Community Possible, focuses on closing the gaps between people and possibility in the areas of work, home, and play. And the Business Angel of the Year honoree is the Los Angeles Rams. Kevin Demoff, Chief Operating Officer, is with us today. Kevin, thanks for being here and congratulations.
Thank you, Josh. What a great honor for our team and our franchise. Probably the second best award we've won this year, I would say, if I were looking at the year. Our group just does an amazing job to get out in the community and really use the power of our platform, our game, the NFL, to really bring awareness to social responsibility issues, diversity, equity, inclusion, and really try to give access to all those Angelenos who might not get access except for our platform. And when you think about over 200 million people worldwide watching the Super Bowl, SoFi Stadium, and the Rams, over 1 million people who come through our doors at SoFi Stadium each year to watch our games. It truly gives us a platform that we want to use to help lift up the most vulnerable Angelenos, give them access to programs they might not be able to do, partner with anybody we think can really make a helpful difference in our community on a daily basis. And as I think about Business Angel of the Year, over the past year, we partnered with over 230 schools in Los Angeles, 60 nonprofits, and 15,000 students to help try to make a difference in the daily lives of Angelenos to the best that we can. And so fortunate when I look on this Zoom and see so many of our partners, whether it be the LA Regional Food Bank and Michael being honored, Play Equity Fund, and Renata, certainly Exceptional Children's Group as well. So many of our partners here. And I think about whether it's United Way, what we did for the Walk United Justice Walk, the first community event at SoFi Stadium this past year, a 5K in November, which we can't wait to replicate this year. When you think about City Year and our partnerships with the LA Public Schools, Operation Progress, Brotherhood Crusade, College Track, all of these are groups that we love to work with each day to help raise their profile and really work with Angelenos in need. As I think about working with the LA Promise Fund to deliver internships for over 70 students who wouldn't have access to internships in sports, College Track, helping people get into college, so many different ways to get engaged. And the work of Molly Higgins, Jonathan Franklin, Zach Kincaid, David Weingarten, Noel Grigsby, and our team who love working with all the students, with all the people we come to work with on a daily basis to try to make LA better. So an unbelievable award, humbled to receive it. We'll keep up the good work, and we may not win this award next year, but hopefully we have that other award we've already won back in Los Angeles as well.
Thanks, Kevin. Congratulations to the Rams on both their Lombardi Award and this one, and really appreciate all the impressive work you guys are doing to support and engage in the community. And the final category for the program is outstanding social responsibility. We talked about this some on the panel, and let's get to the finalist. Our first finalist is Bank of America. As part of its commitment to strengthening communities, Bank of America awarded over $11 million to 175 local nonprofits across Greater Los Angeles in 2021. Our second finalist is Farmers and Merchants Bank. In response to the escalating need for pandemic relief resources, F&M Bank committed $40,000 to support local micro or small businesses adversely impacted by COVID-19. Our third finalist is Greenberg and Gloucester LLP. Philanthropy is a key component that contributes to Greenberg Gloucester's culture, providing team members opportunities to give back to the community while simultaneously bringing team members together for a cause. Also in this category, the Los Angeles Rams again. In addition to the team's continued on-field success, the Rams also executed social responsibility and outreach projects through their impactful community programs, which Kevin just told you a little bit about. And finally, the Penta Building Group. Penta was founded on the principle that people come first. Philanthropy and volunteerism are incredibly important to the company as a whole. And the honoree for social responsibility is Bank of America. And joining us is Senior Vice President of Community Relations, Raul Bastillos. Welcome, Raul. Good to see you again. And open your mic and share a few words with us.
All right. Thank you so much, Randy, Josh, and the LA Business Journal for this award. On behalf of the 5,000 employees working in the greater Los Angeles area, we are thrilled to be recognized with this award. At Bank of America, we understand that effective philanthropy needs to go beyond the financial support that we provide to local groups. And this was something that was strongly mentioned during the panel earlier this afternoon. So last year, almost half of our employees in Los Angeles volunteer with a nonprofit organization. This translated to more than 34,000 volunteer hours donated to our local communities and included support to food banks, shelters, schools, community centers, and numerous other wonderful causes. In addition, more than 100 of our senior managers and executives are currently serving on nonprofit boards, and teams of employees have been working on skills-based volunteer projects to help groups address key challenges. So this award is really an acknowledgement of all of their ongoing hard work and efforts, And we want to thank the LA Business Journal for this honor. I also want to recognize the other companies that were nominated, as well as all the individuals. We are all working tirelessly through our philanthropic efforts to strengthen our communities throughout Los Angeles. This is really what success will look like. I think all of us working hand in hand. So thank you so much for this honor.
Congratulations, Raul, and of course, the entire Bank of America team, all of the other finalists in this category. You know, I know we can't hear the applause, but I'd like to give a round of applause. All of us, join me, please, in a virtual round of applause to all of this year's nominees, finalists, and winners. I want to thank just all of you for telling us your stories, allowing us to write about your stories, which you can do in Monday's issue. You can read all about our nominees, our finalists, and our winners in Monday's issue, both in print and online. And for those of you who have others that you think would enjoy seeing this program, a recorded version will be available at labusinessjournal.com within the next day or so. And, you know, as we look forward to next year, and we anticipate doing this in person, where we can really celebrate on an even grander scale, I'd like to challenge each of us between now and then to find new ways to get involved, to help create new innovative fundraising campaigns that will be talked about in the next judging meeting, or just to reach out and learn about a local nonprofit that perhaps you're not familiar with. Until then, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. Congratulations to all of our nominees, and we'll see you next year. Thank you so much.